A mil.
And scenes like that playing out in living rooms across Nevada and New Jersey as the World Series of Poker Online 2020 continues. Welcome back to our Poker Go studio. Ali Najad, joined by Maria Ho. And Maria, what was your living room like this past week? Was it like Ron McMillan there from Iowa, or?
Unfortunately, there was a lot of self-loathing in my living room. I managed to book one more min cash, amazing Kessler cash, as Kev Math calls it. But other than that, no broadcaster run good to speak of so far.
Well, we'll get to some broadcaster run good. Our own Jeff Platt managed to get to a final table. Didn't quite work out for him, but we'll leave that for later. The news, however, is all about these average buy-ins, roughly $500, $100,000 plus scores for almost everybody who took down a bracelet. And here are the 6 names added to the ledger over the course of these past 6 events. Ron McMillan, 188,000 richer, but Ryan Torgussen, the story.
Yeah, I mean, he actually finished runner-up to Ron McMillan and then ended up making back-to-back final tables and then taking down event number 10 for that redemption, which is nice. And of course, Alan Gehring, winner of event number 8, he actually finished runner-up to Noel Furlong in the 1999 WSOP main event.
Wow, there's a name I haven't heard
that
in a while.
Today.
Yeah, no kidding. I know our own Nick Schulman was tweeting, giving some hats off to the man who's been a grinder for a very, very long time. Now, those were the winners, but there were some notables that got close within sniffing distance, but couldn't quite close out. Jeff Platt in event 7, finishing in 7th. He was live streaming. That was fun times. But some real notables there, Maria.
Yeah, Chance Kornuth coming in 2nd place. He was actually down to 1 ante at one point in that tournament, but just couldn't make the comeback. And then, of course, Aram Zobian in event number 9. He actually made the main event final table one year as well.
And we welcome in the event number 9 champion. Just landed back in Iowa late last night and getting ready to return for more after having made that healthy score. Ron McMillan, welcome, Ron.
How are you guys? Great to hear from you.
We are doing well. Listen, who were the guys that were in the living room environment with you, your buddies? Who were those?
Well, Ian Dean, the young kid, was Tom Dean's son, and he was kind of watching. He's a newbie. He had never even played poker before. And then Tom was over playing, and then Jeff Fielder was across the way playing online poker. Yeah, that's Ian standing and Tom Dean behind me. And Jeff Fielder was doing the video, and then in another room playing his own online. They'd all got knocked out, of course, playing his own online. We're in a suite at Caesars, and the other room was Dustin Dirksen. So, but Jeff Fielder was called in. He was playing. Well, he wasn't called in. He was sitting on the other side of the room, and I think all of a sudden Tom stood there. But when it got down to 2, they knew some stuff could happen, and so then I think that's when Tom yelled over to Jeff that something big could happen. So Jeff grabbed his phone and started videoing. So
now, Ron, you had, beginner's luck of some sorts, not because it was your first time playing poker, but because it was your first time playing online. So tell me about how that process was for you. Were there some moments where you felt like you weren't that comfortable at first, or, how were you able to very quickly find your way to that final table and kind of feeling like, okay, I got my groove back. I know how to do this.
I went really slow to start. I went really slow, and then as I started to feel more comfortable, got a couple levels in, I realized there were a lot of things different, but in the same time you could still learn the players you're playing, and learn their techniques and who's the aggressors and who's the their different styles, and so I was adapting to that quickly, and then I started to feel better. I never did feel totally comfortable. I think I told Bernard Lee, I laughed, I stood there, and the reason some of my bets maybe scared people, and this could be why it won't work again, is that I didn't figure out how to make the right bet. So I just make a min bet, quarter bet, or a half bet, pot bet, and that was, so some of my bets were over bets, and And all of a sudden, somebody said, "Wow, that's a little high," and I didn't worry. But all of a sudden, I think I scared people off the hands because they thought I was better than I was. So
I wanted to ask you about that, Ron, because this was your first time playing online poker. I can think back to my first time, and just getting familiarized with the software can be a challenge. Be honest. Did you misclick? Did you click something you didn't mean to? And if you did, how many times?
Twice.
It's just only 2 times throughout. Were you holding your breath and it was like for all your chips? Or?
Maybe I misclicked the wrong bet or something. But yeah, twice I made bad mistakes, and both times I got bailed out.
Now I know you were saying to us that you can't wait to get back to Vegas. We know you're home now. So what are your plans moving forward, and how has that changed since you won a bracelet?
Well, I have to go back and try to win another one because I guess I've always liked the farmer that doesn't want any more land except for the land next to his. I don't want any more bracelets except one more. So I have to get back, and I hope to come back within a few days. Do I really enjoy it? No. When it live comes back, will I do it again? No. It's just not me. I'm not a tech guy, and like I said, I can't even figure out how to make the right bets. So I could do half bets and pot bets and stuff, sort of just call and check. But like I said, maybe I simplified the game. Maybe there's a lesson to be learned there. So.
Well, I think you were teaching people more lessons than you were learning, as it turns out. Last question, Ron. Now, I know you like big game hunting. If you had an option to put a 20-point buck on your wall or win a bracelet, is it a toss-up or is it not even close, and which do you choose?
I have every big game animal in North America, and I've hunted all my life, but nothing compares to a bracelet. If you're a poker player with true passion like I have, it's just, and you guys are very familiar with, it's just, there's just nothing better. It's just, you can't explain it to somebody. You just simply can't explain it to somebody. That's the right answer. And good on you, Ron. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And Maria, halfway through mid-series form, the guy's his first time online and just binky.
I know, but I feel like now his name's out there. People are going to be watching out for Ron. You got to mix it up a little bit.
They're going to be like, I know why he's quarter pot betting. He doesn't know how to do anything else. He's just clicking that. All right, so here it is, mid-series form. 12 different bracelet winners thus far. Still got plenty to go, 18 more. Torgussen, the story. Daniel with those bracelet bets. 4 cashes, but no final tables. And 70 bracelets still to come.
I mean, that gives me a lot of hope that I still have a chance.
54 of those bracelets are going to be awarded on GGPoker. Here are some statistics, though. Longest event, 12 hours and 15 minutes. Would that be the over on the line that you would set, Maria, or the under?
Yeah, that would probably be the under, actually. I do expect that some of the other events that we'll see, maybe some of the higher buy-ins, the high roller is coming up very soon. That might take longer.
Now, while event number 7 may not have broken any of those records, it was most certainly a memorable one, most so for the eventual winner. From Thousand Oaks, California, 44-year-old Jun Kim, who has a physiological science degree from UCLA, but he went full psyops on the field.
Yeah, and I wonder what was going through his head when he just wants his king-9 to hold for the final hand, just holding his breath the whole way, but luckily that king came on the flop and he was able to fade.
Almost out of breath, Dave Tuckman there as he was wire to wire for all the action. Couple of notables on this event 7 field. Basebaldy, Eric Baldwin, accomplished tournament pro, and of course our very own Jeff Platt in 7.
Yeah, and you got to give it to Jeff Platt. Not only did he run deep in this event, but he is the winner of the Who Loves It More award lately. He's been live streaming all of the tables lately, down to the final. This one, though, I have to say, he came into the final table as the chip leader, but this call-off with King Deuce suited, I'm not a fan of. No, I can't say that I like this. I think it's a little too ambitious. Given the ICM considerations, you have a couple stacks that are shorter than you. I think the worst king I would call off with here is probably King Jack offsuit, maybe King 10 suited. I just don't think that this is good enough.
A collective groan felt through the Twitter sphere after Jeff came in with the chip lead to the final table, finishing in 7th. And here were his thoughts after the bust out, thanking everybody for the support. He says he played for the win, and that clearly showed. I don't think we can argue with that. Perhaps not as supportive, though. Our Norman Chad, who stirred the pot with allegations of being able to see hole cards, obviously in jest, and then suggesting that Jeff wouldn't know what to do with them, even if he did see them. Now let's move to event number 8, where the old school grinder, Alan Gearing, former junk bond analyst and trader who was runner-up in '99 in the main event, took down a bracelet.
Yeah, this is Alan's first bracelet, and it's been a while coming for him to have this moment.
Out there. Hey, take us back to 2017.
I'll tell you what, he's got $5.3 million in career tournament earnings, Maria, and now over $1 million of that coming in the World Series. Shout out to Randy Owell in the 3rd, and of course Rob Coons had a nice little series for himself.
Yeah, it's been amazing for Rob Coons so far. He's had 7 cashes so far, 2 final tables. He's just been firing everything.
And fired up were the boys in Iowa on the couch of Ronald McMillan, 188K going to Mac Daddy 15.
No,
and this was the moment from the other side of things, the actual screen.
Yeah, and if Ron's win and that video of his celebration doesn't inspire players to play online for the first time, I really don't know what would.
Well, the big game hunter performed taxidermy on the field, and these were the 8 victims at the final table. Some notables there are Ram Zobi and a World Series of Poker main event final table list.
Yeah, and another deep run by Ian Steinman. And of course, Ryan Torgussen, who ends up becoming the winner of event number 10.
And here was the last hand. Ace Queen, as good a hand as any to get it in with. This wasn't the last hand. This was 3-handed action. I stand corrected.
Yeah, and a little surprised again by just some of the call-offs that have been happening really deep at the final table. 3-handed, you're the middle stack. To call off 30 bigs with King 7 suited, again, ambitious is all I have to say.
Did flop a gutter though for a little glimmer of hope.
Yes. Just not the spot that you want to be in this situation.
Needed an 8. A 7 or a king instead of 4 on the end. Left Mac Daddy to finish his work against Torgussen heads up. But Torgussen, there was only one way for him to improve on that finish, and that was to win the next event, and that is exactly what he did for 172K. No apologies necessary, mister, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you just wonder, you know, it takes a really strong mindset, I think, to finish runner-up and then to find himself back in that spot and then to be able to overcome another heads-up battle.
No doubt about it. Tuckman in the Islanders jersey, it looked like back there. And how about Sam Grizzle with the podium finish? That's a name I didn't expect to see.
That is not a name I expected to see either. And Sam Grizzle, well-known, old-school pro, plays a lot live. I didn't really know that he dabbled online, so this was a great showing by him.
Speaking of dabbling online, Roman Afanasenka actually was 54th, his only other cash in a 2020 World Series of Poker online circuit event earlier this year, and followed it up with the victory for 110K in event number 11.
Yeah, rivering that 3 against Chance Corniff, who we had spoke earlier. He ended up getting 2nd in this event, and he was actually down to 1 ante, as we had mentioned.
The good news is that Chance won enough in 2nd to afford a new monitor, because he had to have punched it out after the 3 hit on the end. Shout out to Erica Lindgren, too, in 6th. And Ryan DePaulo, look at that fist pump in the donkey rope. Joey is a mush, 159K for event number 12. Well done to Ryan, the vlogger, who actually won this one from where, Maria?
A Whole Foods parking lot.
Gets real in the Whole Foods parking lot.
Yeah, apparently, I guess he's been driving to the border every day, just playing in his car. I'm just glad that he had good Wi-Fi there.
Where did the Penguins jersey come from, Tuck? Anyhow, here are the other players who managed to punch a ticket to that final table. Shannon Shore making an appearance, picking up 22,000.
Yeah, and of course, Jack Salter, who finished 2nd, a well-known pro, plays a lot of high-stakes events.
And let's get a look now at the standings for Online Player of the Year. $100,000 will be distributed amongst 50 players on this leaderboard. Currently at the top, Bustin' Balls. That's his name.
Not surprising to see Rob Kuhn up there in 1st place. As I had mentioned, he does have 7 cashes. Really amazing run so far.
And our own little deal that we're doing is Player of the Week, and I don't think anybody can argue with our choice. Ryan Torgussen with the follow-up to the 2nd place finish, taking down a bracelet. Okay, joining us now from Las Vegas, four-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner and fellow mixed game enthusiast, Eli Elezra. Eli, welcome in, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we're going to do a little toss-up here and get you and Maria's thoughts on a handful of topics. The first of which I want to go to is just this growth of online poker. Obviously, COVID, a big part of why people are turning to their screens. Is it good for live poker or is it bad for live poker? How about you go first, Eli?
I'm a live poker player. I'm a live mixed player, and I will never. I mean, during the full tilt days and the poker star days, I play a lot online. But I mean, you'll never hear me saying that I prefer online. If it's good, it's definitely good because it keeps us in a loop of playing the game because we cannot go to the casino. But an old school guy will tell you, I want to look at the face of my opponent.
But Maria, obviously those full tilt and Poker Stars days that Eli is talking about, it was a totally different game. A lot of that money was flowing in the U.S. market into live games. Now it's a bit different, though, and a lot tougher.
Yeah, but I still think that the growth of online poker as of late is still good for live poker ultimately, just because I see online poker as a gateway or a stepping stone for people to play live. I think sometimes people don't quite feel comfortable to enter the live arena. They'll get their start online, and then once they feel good and relaxed, then they'll move into the live environment. So I'd say it's good.
Now, Eli, you were famously part of one of the biggest poker games ever regularly spread anywhere, and that, of course, was the 4,000, 8,000 mixed game in Bobby's room. Of the players that you played with, who would you say is the player that's made the best transition to online and is doing the best in the online arena now?
Well, it's you belong to one of those guys because that was Tom Duan. He came into the straight from the online, play with us the high stakes poker, you know, the famous high stakes poker and the most, I mean, that's why we all become so famous, I guess. And I mean, nobody could have done better than what Tom Duan did on the transition, you know. I still, until these days, and Maria will agree with me, I blame him for a lot of sad poker players. A lot of poker players wanted to be the Tom Duan and wanted to be the guy that can bluff Doyle Bronson and play against Phil Ivey without fear. And he came and he showed us the best of it. I mean, I used to go home and talk to myself because Tom Duan was so unreadable, so good that he just made me talk to myself. I lost so many big pots against him.
Yeah.
Any time with Duan?
I mean, Duan, no doubt, has had a ton of success online. For me, though, I would have to pick maybe Shulman. I think that Nick, obviously, he's through commentating and otherwise playing the higher stakes MTTs. He's definitely become one of the top tier tournament players, but I think that's definitely transitioned into online. He's been playing a lot more online lately. I think that he studies. He's on top of everything that's new to the game.
Last but not least, Eli, is there a game that you think is going to be the next breakout game, the one that you feel is swelling in popularity amongst people in the mixed community and beyond?
Well, obviously, the new game that I never play a hand of it, neither live or online, is the short deck. And it seems like, I mean, a couple of times I go to Aryeh or to Bobby's room, and I went into a game that I see they play in short deck, so I just left the room. I don't know the value of the hand, and I never play even not one hand on it. I'm sure Maria did, and she can tell us more about it. But if it's going to take over, I don't know. I know that it took over. They played on those high stake, the 50K championship tournament and stuff. If there's any game of my mix that take over those days, I would tell you that probably every mix that I go in now, I like to put the big bet games, which is the Big O and the No Limit Do. So those are the games.
Yeah, I mean, Eli mentioned short deck, and I have to say that I feel like short deck will be the next big game to kind of emerge. I know that it's been around now for a little while, but I think that it's going to pique the interest of a lot of the recreational players, kind of in the way that Pot Limit Omaha did, for example, because you can gamble a little bit, because there is a little bit more of that splashing around and having fun with the game. And so Short Deck definitely allows for you to do that, and it's definitely a game that I know is becoming very popular, especially in the high stakes communities.
Not sure I agree. I think it may have lost some steam, but only time will tell. Okay, Ellie, we know you're sitting out right now in a couple of cash games, so we'll let you get back to it, but thank you so much for joining us, my friend. We appreciate you. Short Deck, I
know it has, the interest has waned a little bit, but I do think that it will come back in a big way, probably especially when live poker is back.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more of an international game. And speaking of international, of course, right around the corner, we have GGPoker's 54 bracelet slate. If you want to get your fix and get a shot at a bracelet, of course, here in New Jersey and Nevada, WSOP.com is where to go. And then GGPoker for the international stuff. GGPoker is on the verge of a historic bracelet run. In just a few days, event number 32 kicks off what will be a 54 bracelet series. It'll be the opener, followed by the Caesars Cares Benefit and the No Limit Hold'em Turbo 6-handed. Pros, amateurs, and even some celebrities are going to turn out for that Caesars Cares charity event, so make sure you look out for that one. Really a tremendous series in store on many levels. Now, while the best place to get caught up on last week's action is always going to be right here with Maria and I, in between visits, we give you the Twitter sphere, where we go to our tweets of the week. And the first one comes your way from poker journalist Chad Holloway. Look at that screen grab of a very happy Ron McMillan. Special moments like this still do exist, Maria.
Yeah, and no celebration is complete without Pringles.
Oh, the negative space, good eye. Moving right along, we have a shot of Ryan Torgussen. Second and first back-to-back will take a little bit out of you.
Yeah, no doubt he was mentally and physically exhausted after those runs.
Andrew Lauer there to document things. And then our own Nick Schulman was alerted to OG Alan Gearing's win by Lucky Chewy. Nick confessing he used to make fun of the man's style, but the old dog learned a new trick and picked up a bracelet in the process.
Yeah, min-raising and betting small really came back in a big way lately.
Now, Ryan DePaulo, before you get angry, the transmission is in park. The man has been driving to the border, notably the Whole Foods parking lot, and this is the setup the notable vlogger uses to do his damage online. Are you a fan?
I mean, looks like he had everything he needs. A strong internet connection, his laptop battery fully charged. It's a great setup.
I don't mind it. Now, we talked about OG Alan Gearing, perhaps even more OG than Alan Gearing, our very own Norman Chad, who shared with us his thoughts about the WSOP.com's online chat.
So I'm playing in my first WSOP online event, and I typed something into the chat box, and it came out ... Man, I'm thinking, what type of hypersensitive moderator's in this chat that he doesn't understand that when I call somebody a dingleberry, I am complimenting them? Well, it turns out the WSOP has disabled the chat box this year. I understand my arch nemesis Maria Ho thinks this is a good idea because much of the chat is nasty and toxic. Yes, there is too much abuse in the chat, but no, we should not give in to these virtual bullies. We need to re-seize that space. We need to re-civilize it. I remember when they started tiger-proofing golf courses because he got so good. Is this the WSOP's way of Mike the Mouth-proofing the chat box? Do you really want to sit there just clicking all day, check, raise, fold? That is joyless and soulless. The chat box is our last vestige of interaction, of human contact. Heck, some people might have a better chance in the chat box than on Tinder. How have we evolved into the highest species on the planet, yet we cannot chat without starting an online riot? Okay, you want to learn how to chat? Send a postcard to your favorite aunt or uncle, okay? That postcard is like a chat box. You're not going to write, "Dear Aunt Matilda, you're stupid, you're the worst, you're ugly, you can't play mahjong, WTF, LOL, love your nephew." Come on, folks, we can do better. And yo, Maria Ho, you are a dingleberry.
Ouch.
Now, some of you guys might be confused because I think people thought Norm and I were friends. So if you guys want to know why I am his new and latest punching bag, it's because I might have won some Norm bucks recently in a fun little home game we had online.
Oh, are you talking about the Carol home game?
Yes.
The Carol. I've been invited to play that home game. I haven't because I don't want to win Norm bucks and then end up in the
He's giving it away, Ollie. Get in there.
God, he's so salty. All right, listen, we got a big week coming up on the World Series of Poker.com. Here are the 5 events. Will Maria bucks be deployed?
Oh, of course. I mean, like I said, I've been mashing the deposit button over and over again. I will be in all of these.
Now, of course, we are just a few days away from the GGPoker schedule. For those that are going to be traveling north or south of the border or beyond, 54 bracelets will be available to you. And of course, that big 25 million guarantee still hanging in the balance. And you're still going to Mexico?
I do plan to leave you and deposit more bucks elsewhere.
Listen, pesos. It's pesos once you get south of the border. Here are some of the players to watch. Matthias Eibinger, Go Blue, and Macaco Cidadao. That feels like a Portuguese thing. There was some rumor that that might have been Sean Deeb.
Yeah, I did hear that that might be Sean Deeb. Nothing is confirmed, of course, but of course you can see they all have had a lot of success on GG as of late.
Yeah, Eibinger, #1 on Austria's all-time money list. Not the biggest of countries, but still plenty of talent coming out of that little enclave in Europe. So that brings us to a close for today. We'll find out what Maria's bankroll looks like 5 days from now. But until then, on behalf of Ms. Ho, I'm Ali Najad saying so long.
Nathan Gamble might just know what he's doing when it comes to PLO 8 or better. His second bracelet in this game in just 4 years. June Kim with the ultimate knockout, and for that, he'll take home $103,000 and a World Series of Poker bracelet. 21 years after finishing runner-up in the main event, Alan Gehring finally gets the gold bracelet he's always wanted. In what was his first ever online poker tournament, Ron McDaddy 15 McMillan takes home event number 9 and the gold bracelet.